Hi, Virgo. Okay, so Mercury's retrograde, and there is some sort of something that you really have been going back to over and over again. It's something that you really should have left in the past a few years ago. It's something that you should have let go of a while ago. But man, it's really getting on top of you. And in July, I feel like it just becomes that much more clear how much of your life it's consuming. Something that you just can't let go of. It could be anything. It could be a relationship. It could be an argument. It could be a friendship. It could be a job disappointment. It's something where I suspect you felt like you didn't have a lot of control, or it's a current relationship where you feel like you don't have a lot of control. And although you may be asked to make big decisions right now, perhaps by people who are asking out of desperation, and you can feel it, it's just a little bit of a tricky time, Virgo. You got to be careful right now. There's a couple of things, where the past is really seeking you out. It wants to put its toxic claws back in you. I feel sorry for you in that way, because I really don't think that you're wanting to revisit it. But it's just there. It's in the front of your mind. You can't get away from it. It's just in some ways ever present, which is why I think the universe now wants you to deal with it in Cancer season. But especially Cancer season, Mercury retrograde. Oh my God. Neptune retrograde, great. Capricorn, full of retrogrades with Pluto and Saturn, wonderful. So everything wants Virgo to look at the past. But what if your past is toxic? What if you've just recently changed? What if you're a new person now, and the last thing you want is to revisit who you used to be? I mean, Virgos evolve so quickly, but in some ways, you are that stubborn earth sign. Mercurial and yet still earth. So maybe there's something that you've been holding on to, 20 years. Yeah, since you were 10 or whatever, I don't know. But all of a sudden in July, you're like, oh my God, that's such a trash dump for all my excess energy that I could be using for all these other things. Why am I choosing to throw so much energy into that black hole? Is it just because I'm afraid of what I could do with it if I actually had it? Here, the Strength card, finally, after all that shuffling. If you're dealing with a Leo, they're coming up super strong. Might be someone that you're trying to get away from, I understand. But it's also just about you having to shoulder a lot and be really strong this month, because there's nothing quite as vulnerable, as a Virgo's mind. And all these retrogrades, it feels like they're playing tricks on you, like it would be so easy to get stuck back in something that is almost incestuous. It's too close, and you've already had that switch flip moment of this is not going to work, or you did years ago, and yet somehow you're still trying to be like, this is not going to work. 10 of Pentacles. Remember what your standards are. Remember what you want. Remember what you were looking for in the first place. As long as you are going by your original standards of what you feel is, acceptable, required, demanded, then you can't go wrong. But I think part of what this season wants to show you is how much your standards have changed. How you have let circumstance, soften some pretty sharp edges you want to be sharp. So, but now in terms of that Leo, if this is someone new in your life, that Leo is full of promise, and they want the best things for you and with you. But can they give them to you? That's the question, right? Can they give them to you? It's all great until It's all great until it's time to deliver, you know? And it's like waiting for a package to that is shipped, but you're tracking it. You're tracking these packages backwards. Okay, this is the result I got. How did I get here? But none of that is going to make sense of your current choices. None of that can inform your current choices, even though you know that that's what your mind wants to do. Your past can't help you, which is why I'm saying I feel sorry for you, because there's so many retrogrades that you're going to swear that delving back into your past is going to solve your problems, and it's not. You are being asked to do one of the hardest things of anyone in the zodiac this season, which is to have everything pull you back, but you have to look forward. You have to look at the big decisions that are being asked of you now, and you have to realize that no matter what you think you know of somebody, no matter what you think you know of them, the reality of who they are now and who you remember them to be is very different. And you cannot make decisions based on who you wish somebody was. Oh, the tea is scalding. Super hot. Like these lights, honey. Super hot. And in that respect, do we love the retrogrades for showing us how much something was actually worth? Absolutely. As long as you don't let yourself fall into the melancholia of it all. You know? Absolutely. It's good to take a walk down that, you know, particular road just to be like, ew. But getting back into the ew, no thank you. We don't want that. We don't need that. We want to be helping other people out of that. But, you know, if you're involved in being that helpful Virgo in all your friends' lives, you may have to take a break this month. I'm serious. You may have to take a break this month because you need all your strength to get stuff done without your emotions getting in the way. Now, if you're trying to decide if a person you're with can give you what you need or not, I think you've already decided that they can't, and now you're just playing that weird game that Virgos play with themselves when they already know the answer, but they pretend not to. Sorry. Let's keep going. So 10 of Pentacles is also about a series of completions and new beginnings. You may find towards the end of the month that you feel great new opportunities coming on if you've been able to keep your temper throughout the month. If you can keep your patience, especially when it comes to large organizations, if you can put on the dashing diplomatic, you know, side of you, you can make some great deals. Some very lucrative deals, some very lucrative collabs. But if you show that toxicity from the past, if you show that old Virgo you used to be, you have a chance to screw all of it up. So don't do it, which is another reason you shouldn't be indulging that past. Looking forward now, looking forward. Man, you guys don't want the video early. You don't want to talk. You don't want to communicate. I get it. It's already so much of a read. I get it. I'm comfortable with it. Your silence doesn't scare me. Just take a deep breath. Okay. The Wheel of Fortune. So you have a lot going on, a lot to look forward to, which is exactly why the question of who you want to spend it with, who you want to be around becomes so important. You know, who is the person in the 10 of Pentacles picture? Is that person worthy of being there? Is anyone that you know currently worthy of sharing in that Wheel of Fortune? Or do you need to step outside of what you know? Do you need, you know, it also seems very insulated. It's very fixed. Do you need to get out of your known circle? You know, maybe that's the whole problem, is that your world is too small. Maybe you pared things down so much because you were trying to make something toxic work that now you feel hella isolated. It's not going to stop your money though. It's not going to stop It's not going to get in the way of your success. It's not going to get in the way of this amazing trajectory you have going on if you're already on that upward swing. And if you find that you're not on, if you're getting rolled by the wheel of fortune, it may be because you need to learn how to self-sustain. A lot of Virgos are going through a moment of, what am I? What can I do on my own? You may have an Aries in your life that is pushing you towards making those more independent decisions. Stop relying on me. You can do this for yourself. The fire signs seem very interested. The Leo and, the Aries are already out. Both signs may be asking for a commitment. And again, you are within your rights to say, I'm not ready. I don't know what to say yet. Don't put that on me. Like, I need more time. Also, that Emperor card is about the ego. It's about self. It's about, so is the Leo card. It's about self. It's about focusing on you. And like I said, you have the chance to focus on the best of you and, weed out every past experience that you need to forgive yourself for and move on. Or you can focus on the worst of you, which will take you right back there. And what's there? Not forgiveness, not salvation, not understanding, just criticism. Don't go there. Nobody likes it there. Nobody wants to be there. All right, the World card, the 8 of Wands, the Star, and the 3 of Wands. I'm happy to see the Star there. Very happy to see that. Very nice. Very nice. You are doing so well and will continue to do so well, inshallah, in so many ways, that this is just the size of this hurdle is such a great indication of the size of the wins to come. So although it is go, go, go Leo season, we're almost there. There's also this Cancer role that you have to take care of first. And some people just keep proving themselves to not be up to standard. There's nothing you can do about their personal decisions and the mistakes they choose to keep making again and again. And if you're in a situation where you feel you are being victimized by someone who keeps telling you they understand and they believe and they want to be on the same page with you and they get what your expectations are or what your issue with them is when they don't do ABC, but then it keeps happening again and again, and so you start to feel like either you're nagging them or maybe you're miscommunicating, or are you just being too this or that, and it turns into a gaslight situation. A lot of those dynamics get examined for you during this huge retrograde season, and we want you coming out of it seeing the best in yourself, not getting stuck on every little place where perhaps if you had said something different or played it different, it wouldn't have happened like this, and this particular trauma or damage wouldn't have happened. Don't use this season like that. It'll just hurt you. There's no point. There's no reason. Use it as a way to learn what your triggers are, learn where your weak points are, learn where people can easily manipulate you, and you can shore up those places. And in the meantime, work is chugging away. Work is going in the right direction, as long as you don't let the stress of being pulled back into the past affect your future and your communication with your team, with your colleagues, with your parents, with your friends. And if there is someone, like I said, who's really pushing for you to, sign on the dotted line, you got to wonder about anyone who won't give you the time and space to have your process. Process is sacred, and anyone who doesn't hold that space for you, something's up, right? I love you. Are we still doing this? I love you. Okay. I'll see you in a second. Yes? Yes? Yes. Hi, Virgo. All right, let's get into this part 2 business, huh? So, as you can tell, what is being asked for from you is strength. Strength to remember your dreams, remember your standards, remember what you know is best for you. The funny thing, the tricky thing, is that you also know that all the good things are coming, and it's very obvious that they are. But the push here is for you to give the right things to the right person. When you get the thing, who do you share it with? How do you share it? Do you allow those who are not worthy of the journey to come along when you're going through successive wins? And if you don't feel at all like you're in a 10 of Pentacles space, that's why I'm saying it's kind of a tricky reading, because the retrogrades want you to reset back to what you know you want, what you know you are, what you know you're worth. And that's hard to translate here, right? Because if you get the strength and the 10 of Pentacles and you're dealing with a Leo who is being anything but 10 of Pentacles, you're like, this doesn't make any sense. Well, if you, now this is a poetic saying, if you treat a man how they ought to be, they will become that way. That's another way to look at this reading. This is all part of a process. Anyone who's not ready to meet you because of wherever they are in their process will fall behind, and you have to let them. That which remains is your gold standard, and whoever remains and lives up to the gold standard can progress to the next level. It's also about understanding the opportunities that come at you now, because they're so quick, because there's so much good stuff that you don't want to get rolled even by a wave of abundance. Because look, Wheel of Fortune, the Star, the World, the Emperor, even Strength, cards of abundance, cards of, the things you want most, cards of victory, the kind of victory you've been searching for a minute. Things finally settling down in terms of work. But again, only if we aren't exhibiting this fiery nature. You're going to have a little fire at your disposal, Mercury retrograde fire. And just like keeping your standards high, you don't want to blanket something that is moving and progressing at exactly the Virgo speed you need it to. You don't want to throw a blanket of fire over that. In the attempt to try to speed it up or get more, you may end up having to leave the whole thing behind. Right? So in your personal life, aim higher, hold people to a higher standard. But in your professional life, don't push at all for the next 3 weeks. Because the things that are coming together so beautifully. My fear is that if you meddle, you may lose a lot for no reason. And if you let the wrong people in, you may lose a lot for, out of poor judgment. So it's a two-pronged approach. In one way, being utterly cynical, and in the other, being quite hopeful and calm. You're probably tired of being dual after a Gemini season, so it's like, ugh, more of this. But take what you learned in Gemini season and apply it here. In terms of your social life, your love life, I think it's pretty obvious to you without looking at any cards. what isn't working, or what someone keeps telling you. That's the other thing this looks like. It's like someone keeps telling you it is a certain way, but their actions don't match it. On the other hand, if you apply that exact same thinking to your work, you will run into obstacles. So when the work situation, you think, well, it doesn't look like it's working, don't push. Remember that it's a tricky time, and being ruled by Mercury makes it a million times trickier. So all the abundance is here, especially moving into Leo season. That's obvious enough. But sharp rocks ahead as well before we can get to the calm pool of tranquility here. And what gets you over the sharp rocks to the good stuff? Your process, which is exactly why I'm saying with your personal life, let yourself have your process. And in terms of your professional life, honor your process, because it is exactly that will keep you from cutting your feet on the very sharp stones. And then as Leo season starts in late July, boom, just gorgeous, just beautiful, feeling great, feeling complete. For some of you, that may mean leaving a situation finally that just didn't turn out to be what you thought. You thought it was going to be a certain way. You thought it was exactly what you'd always dreamed of, and it turned out to be not that at all. But that is also healthy, and it's progress, and it's evolution, and that's what we want. All right, Virgo, love you. I'll see you in the extended right now.